Good evening. It is 6:30 p.m. on Monday, May 20th, 2024. I would like to call to order the Sheboygan Area Schools regular meeting for the Sheboygan Board of Education. Mrs. Ballard?
Amber Hanson.
Here.
Marianne Ridings.
Here.
Julie Lohila.
Here.
Matt Milnarchuk.
Here.
Dennis Olson.
Here.
Carmela Boyd.
Here.
Tim Tarja.
Here.
Eric Hall.
Here.
If everyone could please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin, I would like to get a couple motions to make some amendments on the agenda. I would like a motion to separate the locker room and science lab motion into two separate motions because the bids are separate. We're entered separately.
I'll make that motion after the motion.
Support. Moved by Carmela, supported by Marianne. Any questions? And then I would also like a motion to table. You don't have to vote on that? We're just gonna do it. We'll just do it later. Mrs. Ballard, sorry.
Tim Tarja.
I didn't hear.
We're gonna separate the locker room
Oh, okay.
and
Yes.
science lab motion proposals.
Say
Yeah, they entered their bids separately.
Carmela Boyd.
Yes.
Dennis Olson.
Yes.
Marianne Ridings.
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
Yes.
Matt Milnarchuk.
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. And then, I also would like a motion to amend the agenda tabling the Sheboygan Sports Booster donation as we are missing several members from that group this evening.
Could make that motion.
Moved by Marianne, supported by Dennis. Any questions? Mrs. Ballard?
Matt Milnarchuk.
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
Yes.
Tim Tarja.
Yes.
Carmela Boyd.
Yes.
Dennis Olson.
Yes.
Marianne Ridings.
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. Then we have the approval of minutes. Are there any questions or comments about those? Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the April 22nd, 2024 regular meeting and the May 9th, 2024 special meeting as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the meetings of the April 22nd, 2024 regular meeting and the May 9th, 2024 special meeting.
Support.
Moved by Dennis, supported by Carmela. Any questions? Mrs. Ballard?
Dennis Olson.
Yes.
Marianne Ridings.
Yes.
Tim Tarja.
Yes.
Carmela Boyd.
Yes.
Matt Milnarchuk.
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. And then first, under quality education, we have students of the month for April.
Good morning, or good
Good
afternoon.
evening. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Is Piper here? Mr. Woods writes about Piper and Steve. Piper is an extremely hardworking and respectful student. She is always willing to participate in class and is always respectful to the teacher and her fellow classmates. Piper takes pride in her work and strives to do her absolute best, and it shows in both her excellent attendance and grades. Her positive attitude and drive are also evident in her passion for sports, actively participating in track. While only a freshman, I am sure Piper will continue to have positive influence on both the school and community throughout her time at Sheboygan High School. That was from Mr. Woods. Mr. Woods. Kenny is a fantastic student to have in the classroom. He works hard on any assignment he is given and influences his classmates to work hard as well. He is always focused, encourages, and supports his classmates and teammates. Through his motivation and strong work ethic, Kenny's drive extends beyond the classroom into the wrestling mat, as well as a member of the CAHS wrestling team for the past 2 years. He likes to push himself and taking advanced courses such as advanced placement geometry, or advanced geometry. Thank you. Sorry I slaughtered that, but Carl, congratulations. A lot of nice things said. There you go, sir. Is Adam Blaskowski here? Mr. Blaskowski writes, I proudly nominate Hayden, sorry, that's wrong. Mr. Blaskowski, Hayden Clear is here. Clear, come on up. The other one will be the other next one. Mr. Blaskowski says, I proudly nominate Hayden Clear for the Junior Student of the Month Award. My journey in this classroom began this year, and amidst the nerves of starting a new role, familiar faces like Hayden's provided a reassuring sense of familiarity. I first met Hayden 3 years ago when he was a freshman playing football, and since then witnessing his growth and character development has been truly inspiring. Throughout this school year, Hayden has demonstrated dedication and enthusiasm in the automotive program. Hayden has shown respectable work ethic, and he has earned the trust of the teaching staff as someone who can be relied upon to diligently work on and complete tasks involving vehicles in our lab setting. Hayden also displays an ability to collaborate with any of his peers. He has proven vital, particularly in group projects, where his presence ensures smooth teamwork and efficient progress. One of Hayden's most impressive attributes is his skill at working through challenging tasks that may be entirely new to him. When faced with difficulty, Hayden demonstrates a commendable willingness to pause, ask questions, and seek guidance to push himself forward. This proactive approach not only fosters his own growth, but inspires those around him to embrace challenges with a similar resolve. As Hayden prepares for a well-deserved summer break, I look forward to having him in the automotive program again next year. His passion for learning, coupled with his exceptional work ethic and collaborative spirit, undoubtedly make him a standout student and invaluable asset to our classroom and community. Congratulations, Hayden, on a well-deserved recognition. Next time I see Mr. Blaskowski, I'm going to tell him short himself. The next one is for his son, Adam Blaskowski, and I will read that. I have nominated Blake Blaskowski. I'm reading it. I have nominated Blake Blaskowski, the senior, class student of the month. Blake has been a standout student at Sheboygan High School for 4 years. He has been a very dedicated student, athlete, friend, and family member. As a student, Blake has been able to maintain a high standard for himself by staying near the top of his class. He attacks his schoolwork just like he does with every other part of his life. He doesn't like to fail, and when he does, he is able to learn from these failures. This is an attribute that is sometimes overlooked, but can help anyone become a successful person. As Blake's senior year has progressed, he had to really think about what the next steps will be in his life. He applied to many schools and was accepted into most of the schools that he applied to. Ultimately, Blake decided to attend Baylor University in Waco, Texas. At Baylor, he will pursue a degree in business and the focus on finance. As an athlete, Blake found his place where he found joy and made many friends. He has spent many hours putting in the extra work, and his efforts have been seen on the field. Blake has received many honors in his athletic career at Sheboygan High School. As his senior year winds down, he looks forward to help the varsity baseball team win a district title. I hope Blake cherishes the memories that he made with his teammates on and off the field. Blake is a very loyal family member. He has 2 younger siblings and has always been willing to put in extra time to help them. Blake comes from a very large extended family and doesn't hesitate to help out as many aunts, uncles, and cousins, or his many aunts, uncles, and cousins. As Blake's teachers, coach, mentor, friend, and dad, he will be greatly missed next year when he starts his journey at Baylor. I wish him the best of luck. Don't forget the many relationships that you made on your journey, and never hesitate to reach out for help. Congratulations, Blake.
We have one more student to recognize this evening before our students step out into the hallway. I have the Inverness Academy student spotlight.
This month, we chose Rio Sanford. Who she wants to come up. Rio is a 10th grader here at Inverness. She was nominated to be our student spotlight because of her work ethic and respectfulness. Staff described Rio as being detail-oriented and polite. Additionally, Rio is a self-motivated learner, takes pride in what she does, and never shies away from a difficult task or lesson. Rio works well with others and is well liked by her peers. Rio's favorite subjects are history and science. In her free time, she enjoys listening to music, and in the future wants to go into the military or be a tattoo artist. Congratulations.
Congratulations again to all of the students that were recognized this evening. A lot of hard work goes in. It's nice when we can see you in here and congratulate you on that. The board also recognizes that our students wouldn't be as successful as they are without a strong support system behind them. If you are here this evening in support of one of your students that we just mentioned, I'd like you to stand so that we can recognize your efforts as well. And I know there's students here. The Daily Tribune is here. They would like to get a photograph of all 4 that are here, students in the hallway. After you get your photo taken, you can feel free to come back in and join the meeting, or leave if you'd rather not stay. We won't be offended if you leave. And Harley is in the hallway.
We have in my presentation, we have 2 more students we'd like to recognize prior to setting everybody out in the hallway, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm presenting on CTE today. I don't know, Amber, did you know?
We have a couple of CTE students that would also like to be a part of that. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, I might be overstepping my term. I'm presenting on career technical education tonight for the building spotlight. And I'm going to start with a couple of our DECA program to start with. Back in December, Mr. Richard, who's sitting here in the back row here, started working with taking students to the DECA competition, starting with at the regional level, and then moving on, the district level, then moving on to the regional level, and then continuing to the state level. He had 16 competitors altogether go. Out of those 16, 8 were medalists, earned medals and 2 of those, if you guys would stand, Ava Burry and Jackson Dan here, qualified to go to California to compete in the national DECA competition out there. So we'd like to recognize Jackson Dan and Ava Burry for representing our school out in California. And I'd also like to recognize Mr. Richard for all his support that he provides these students. And thank you guys. I hope you. Okay, now if you want to take the students.
Now, all of our fantastic students could go out into the hallway with Carly to get your photograph taken.
My talking points tonight are not going to be on the slideshow. The slideshow are just images that have been taken from approximately December to now. And I'll talk about a couple of things that are on there, but they're pictures of our students' competitions, our students' projects, our students in general, an 8th grade field trip that went on last week, and that's just there for your pleasure to watch while I'm talking. Maybe you won't be paying attention to me there. I just talked about DECA. Our marketing program we have an excellent marketing program, and it's been very successful in DECA for many years. We have a lot of other successful programs. I'm going to talk about some certification students have been earning in our auto program. As of today, we have earned 30 ASE certifications in either brakes or maintenance light repair. And out of those auto students as well, 23 have earned their OSHA 10 certification. This is a card that you can earn that you can carry for life. It's always good if you've had the safety training of OSHA 10. In business administration, we have 57 students that have earned their Microsoft Office certifications in one or more of the software packages such as Excel, Word, PowerPoint. And then BAMO also competed at BPA and had 4 students compete, and 2 of those qualified for the state meet. There was no state places after that, but they did qualify for the state meet. As far as culinary, you'll see we did 2 things for 2 caterings this year. We did one Good Morning Sheboygan at Citizens National Bank. That's one we try to do every year. We also did the McLaren staff Christmas luncheon, and those are work towards our student leadership. Those are volunteer kids that get up early in the morning to come in and put on those programs for maybe a few extra points, but they're coming in and preparing the food and serving the food, and you'll see those pictures up there as well. We just took a field trip to Great Lakes Culinary Institute, where they also learned about the combination of culinary in the maritime business. So the Maritime's always looking for cooks. Well, they did that. And then last week I had the honor to go with the culinary group, and we had a tour from the head executive chef at Mission Point, and they provided us a lunch after that. But in one day they could have 9 weddings, I learned. So a lot of exclusive planning that goes on at Mission Point with those kitchens and those chefs and that executive chef. In drafting and design technology, we sent 8 projects to MITES, which is the Michigan Industrial Technology Education Society, to compete against other projects throughout the state. At the regional level, all the projects placed in the top 3, and then at the state level, we had 2 firsts and 2 seconds out of those 8 projects total. We had 10 students earn their OSHA 10 certification, same one as the autos would take, the safety training. And then we had 1 student, because he said he was going to Ferris State University, and it was part of his requirements once he got there. Daniel Hudson, a senior of ours, completed the OSHA 30 certification, and he will not have to pay for that on his own next year, as he was able to complete that within my program or our programs. So, education general, you'll see pictures up there. We did reading buddies this year. Mrs. Safford brought back reading buddies, where she's going into the elementary and intermediate school, and their kids are reading to the younger kids, as well as playing some games and a couple other projects that they do with those kids. But that's been a great activity. I've even went and witnessed it, and it's pretty interesting to watch our education kids at a younger level. In welding, every Welding 2 student has earned one or multiple AWS 11 certifications. So that is a welding certification they can take to an employee and say, I am a certified welder in this process. So we went to the Ferris State University welding competition. We had Kristen Miller take a second place in TIG, won himself a welder. And Oscar Chamberlain had received an honorable mention. And it's a great competition. They come back with tons of welding hoods, gloves, just tons of free things that they could use in their career. So, and then all the welding students also received their OSHA 10 certification. So, and then you'll see a lot of our wood projects being presented up there. We had in woods 39 projects were sent to regionals, 36 moved on to states, 27 projects placed in the top 10, 15 have placed in the top 3, and earning first place in their category was Connor Sackett from St. Ignace. Yes, we do have St. Ignace kids come down every day. Brenna Bradley, Caleb Gutteridge, Brock Bird, and Kason Hart. So, all receiving first place medals. And I just want to recognize those because those kids work hard all year long on those woods projects and learn sometimes the easy way, sometimes the hard way of how things have to get completed. So, all I have other than that is I want to say once again thank you for supporting CTE. We have very strong CTE programs here in Sheboygan. We have a lot of strong, all our programs are quite strong, but we just want to keep promoting CTE and how important it is to our community. So, thank you and have a great night.
All right, good evening. I have a short superintendent report this evening. And when I report, one of the things I always like to do is go back to what we spent the entire first semester on, and that was the strategic plan. So I know some of you are familiar with that, some of you aren't. Some of you actually participated in the development of this. But if not, and you just want to follow along, please pass these around, take one if you would like one. And we'll kind of follow along with that theme. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but we spent a lot of time talking about these 5 very broad areas. Eric, if you want to move I'll try to do it out of the way. There's not a lot of wiggle room here. But we had 5 strong areas that kind of the school board, and we had over 30 people be a part of the strategic planning process. So we had academic goal, environmental/cultural, communication and community engagement, personnel, leadership, and operation. So I'm going to talk about a couple of them specifically because I think it's just appropriate, some of the things that you're going to be hearing today during the board meeting and at the end and all that stuff. Talks about our communication goal. And our communication goal, if you look on the paper, specifically states, and I'll read it here off the paper, CAS will promote consistent two-way communication and partnership that engage our community. And then 2 sub-bullets, create relevant events for parents and families, and streamline communication. So at the district level and at our business or our building principal meetings, we use these goals as kind of our North Star. So we try to follow them, we try to figure out what are some things that we can do to support this overarching goal that's been established throughout first semester. So we have a few things that we've done, and I'm not going to tell you everything we've done. But if you take a look at the overhead, some of the things that we're currently working on right now that would be in support of that particular goal is we had a town hall meeting. And that's why I kind of want to tie it together. We had a town hall meeting last week. I think most of you know that on August 6th we'll be going to referendum. We'll be asking people to come out and vote. We are looking for a snow mill extension. What that means is that it will not be a tax increase. So for those of you who are here and maybe you get some questions outside of this room, one of the things that I really want people to know, if there's one thing you take away, is that we're not asking for an increase, we're asking for an extension. And that's important to know, because I don't want my taxes going up. I don't think you want your taxes going up either. but what we're asking for is an extension. This extension allows us to kind of replenish our bond fund. It does allow us to replenish our bond fund. As many of you know, tonight we're going to be bidding on a couple of summer projects, and if they are approved, that's going to use up, exhaust the majority of our bond that was passed back in 2015. For those of you who have been here since 2015, you know that that bond was passed and that there were 3 series, and over time, there's been a lot of infrastructure that's happened to this school district. Well, that money's slowly being spent, right? That money is almost gone. After these projects are hopefully approved this evening, that's even going to get us closer to zero. So what will happen on August 6th, if the community supports it and votes yes, that will replenish that fund. Your tax rate will remain the same. Right now our tax rate, I don't know if you know this, is at 2 mils. So for every $1,000 on real estate value, you pay $2 in taxes. That remains the same, right? But all we're doing is asking us is to just extend that debt so that we can replenish that bond fund, so we can continue to do things like we're doing this summer, in the summer of 25, 26, and 27. As far as in support of communication, some other things that I do, I think some of you received my Sunday Soup email, right? You get a lot of positive feedback from Ben on that. He really enjoys reading that on Sunday nights. Don't you, Ben? But you know what most people don't realize is that that email that I send out on Sunday night goes out to 2,300 people. So it goes out to anybody that has given us their email and put it into our PowerSchool system, they get that email. So it's just not kids, it's just not parents, it's community members, it may be grandparents that have submitted their emails to our school district, kind of secondary email, so all it goes out to everybody. And that's a great way for me to kind of get the gauge of what we're going to be doing this week, and people can get in front of some of the stuff that we're doing. And that, I've heard a lot of good compliments about that. Aptgy, we've talked about this. When I got here back on July 1st, one of the biggest concerns that people had was the website. That the website was old, it didn't do quite the things that we wanted it to do. Sue is the website manager, so Sue knows best that the old website was difficult to deal with because everything filtered through Sue. But what I can tell you is Aptgy has really opened up some doors for us. And if you haven't downloaded the app yet on your smartphone, please do so, because it's very, very convenient. Now, before, it was mainly Sue that could only do content. So if anybody wanted to get content on the website, they had to go through Sue. Now through Aptgy, every building principal and myself can upload content. So when you see that live feed on your phone and you hear that ding, that could be from me, that could be from Ben saying something about the middle school, Jim, Nancy, all of us can just kind of, it's almost like Facebook, right? So we can send that out rather quickly. We've got a lot of good responses on Aptgy. One of the things that we're adding, we originally did not want to add, well, I don't want to say we didn't want to, we just didn't know if we would have the capacity to add another thing. But we're adding rooms now to it. And if you start to hear about rooms, what rooms are is now every teacher can have their own page. So their classroom can be linked to your app on your phone. So not only will you get updates from me, you can check on your child's classes and these teachers. It's amazing what you can do as a teacher through this new Aptgy Rooms feature that we've just purchased. But hopefully that's also not only going to increase district information, but now teachers are going to have the ability to connect directly with parents. So it's going to be a one-stop shop, we hope. You can get district information, you can get teacher information, and right now everybody's very excited about the future of what we can, we've only tapped what we can do with Aptgy so far. A couple other things. One of the things that, if you noticed in our goals, is we talked about two-way communication. So two-way communication, quite often, Aptgy is one way. We're sending stuff out. The Sunday Soup email, we're sending stuff out. But I've kind of challenged myself, based on the strategic plan, is to do more two-way communication. So what that means is I've joined a group called Leadership Sheboygan. Leadership Sheboygan is a one-year class. We meet once a month, and there are other 10 local people, many of them business people downtown. We all meet one day a month, and we have a different topic every time that we meet. This last month we met, it was an environmental topic. So we got to tour a whole bunch of different places, which was kind of cool. I learned a lot about water treatment plants, which was interesting. We also discussed the fishery. So we went around and we kind of tour and we learn and we do a lot of different things, but it's been really cool. And I'm really getting some great networking opportunities. And then also, I don't think I see anybody here, but I've joined the Rotary Club. Every Wednesday we have a luncheon at the, there we go, I knew there'd be one in here, right? So that's been really great. The luncheons, they're very short, they're an hour long, get some really great conversation. There's always a presentation at the Rotary Luncheon. They actually allow to make announcements at the end of the luncheon. And at the last luncheon I talked about, hey, come on out tonight, come out hopefully to the town hall meeting. Everybody was very open and positive about the information that I shared with them at the Rotary Luncheon. And they actually want me to come back and have SiteLogic do the presentation, the actual presentation that we did that night, Wednesday night at the town hall meeting. So we're making some movement anyways on our communication goal that was established during the first semester. Here's an example. This is something, we talked about what SiteLogic could do for us and kind of help push out advertisement and marketing so that we can get the facts out about this particular referendum that's going to happen on August 6th. But SiteLogic created this for us last week. Now this was just tailor-made for that town hall meeting last Wednesday night. But what I was able to do was push it out on my Sunday Soup. I was able to push it out on Mtg. So they're creating some content for us, which is very nice, and it allows me to push it out in the different formats that we have available. We're going to plan to do another one or two before August 6th. We haven't really decided on a date yet, but keep an eye out for it if you want to learn more and attend. And most importantly, if you have some questions, come on out and ask some questions. We had some really good community input last time. They asked some really tough questions, I think, right? Jim, I know you had difficulty answering the one question, but I thought you did fine. So don't beat yourself up about that. But also, here's another way that we can push it out. Deanna there's a picture of Deanna, she's sitting right there. We actually incorporated Deanna into the presentation, so part of the slides that SiteLogic had created for us, you guys know Pete and Brad, they came to every board meeting for about a year. They were there. Again, their marketing department helped us create that slide, but they wanted to make it more personal. So East Elementary is one of the big items on that agenda of things to address. So we got some slides specifically for Deanna. I'm sitting there, I take a picture, I put it on live feed. So again, communication, getting involved, really was a good evening that evening. So if you haven't figured it out yet, vote August 6th, please vote. Now one of the things that our attorneys have expressed to us quite clearly is that when we're on the job, so when I'm an employee of the school district during the school day, a teacher, a building principal, an administrator, the one thing legally that we can only do, as I'm doing right now, is presenting vote, right, on August 6th. I cannot give you, and we should not be giving our personal feelings about vote yes or no while we're wearing the hat of an employee. So I got plenty of, oh, it's not up there. I have plenty of handouts that SiteLogic gave me on the legality of what we can do and what we can't do. And actually, I think as building principals, at our building principal last week, we went over all these handouts. And board members, if you want a copy of them, let me know. We have plenty of extra handouts. But it talked about the legal do's and don'ts, what we can do, what we can't do. But we definitely want to make it public that, this is what we're trying to do. This is what the money would go towards. It's up to you to decide as a committee member whether you want to vote yes or no. So we're getting that information out there. Now, when you're at home or you're having a picnic on Saturday and you want to express your personal views to your cousin, then that's fine. But we definitely want to make sure that when we're on the job and wearing the hat of an employee, that we're sticking to the facts, and we're just encouraging people to get out and vote. Also, SiteLogic, here's another thing that SiteLogic created for us, but was on our Apogee website. They created their own page. There's the QR code, and there's a link there if you just go to our webpage, and they're updating that content almost daily. So if you're looking for the latest scuttlebutt about what's being, what are we talking about today in regards to the referendum on August 6th, you can go to that website and hopefully we'll have some updated information for you, okay? So I'm going to talk about, that's it for communication. I'm going to jump to, because this is going to line up a little bit with what we're doing next, but personnel and leadership goal, if you go down to the second to last one, and you can't read it up here, but you can read it on your piece of paper. The personnel and leadership goal will attract, develop, retain, and invest in quality personnel. We're going to create a comprehensive new staff support plan. We're going to create a process to recruit new staff members. And we have some new staff members that we brought here tonight. That's kind of what's leading into this, that we are going to recommend to the board for hire tonight and add some more really good talent to our teacher talent pool that we already have. I don't know if you guys know who Todd Whitaker is, but I'm a big book study guy. I think some of you know that. Some of you are actually in my current book study. And I think you're ready for that one to be over too, right, Jim? But anyways, so we did a book study. I don't know if you know Todd Whitaker at Indiana University. He's written over 60 books on educational leadership. But one of the things that I enjoy his readings, he's got this book out, What Great Teachers Do Differently, but he also has another book out, What Great Principals Do Differently as well. So, read both those books, they're great reads. Who knows, we might see it next year for a book study. What do you think? But what he says, one of the things that, as a young administrator, when I first read his book, was I think the most important thing I got out of that reading was hire good people, right? Hire good people. The biggest thing that we can do as administrators, building principals, district administrators, school boards, is hire good people. That's going to have the fastest and most significant impact to our school district than anything else will. Now I know Jamie thinks curriculum will do that, but it's a close second. But that's what Jamie's here for.
You need good people to teach good curriculum.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. I think some of you have heard of Hattie's work, and I think, Ben, you brought up Hattie's work the other day, but this is a little bit old. Not too old. I think it's been updated in, was it 2018? One of the things that has a direct correlation with student achievement is teacher efficacy, right? So hiring good people, providing them good curriculum, giving them the autonomy to do their job, that has the biggest impact on student achievement than anything else he did in this meta-analysis. That this is dated, but he did update it in 2018, but it still remains number one. Now, teacher efficacy is a big word for me, so I had to look it up, I had to Google it. I'm like, what does teacher efficacy mean? And if you take a look at that, essentially the level of confidence that a teacher has in their ability to help students succeed. When I read that, what I hear is intrinsic motivation, right? We're doing a book study right now, and I see a lot of guys here in my book study. It's called Pink, or should it be Drive by Pink, is the author. And one of the biggest things about people who do well in their career, whatever their career might be, is that you have purpose. So when we get teachers that have intrinsic motivation, they're driven by purpose and they're driven by what's doing best by kids, you add that to the pool of a good curriculum, then you got something going on. So, talking about leadership, I think most of you know me, but I want to review real quick. I've been in education for 33 years. Some people in there that are just meeting me right now are probably, and you should be saying this to yourself, why should I listen to you, right? What do you know? Well, I've been in education for 33 years. I've been a teacher, high school coach, AD, AP, principal, and this is my 7th year as a superintendent. So 33 years total I have. I have a passion for education, been doing this for a while. I've done nothing else. So what I think that, these are, it's important when we hire people that we're picking the right people. And I think some of you know my education. It's pretty long. Back in 1991, I went to Olivet College. Then I got my master's. Then I got my educational specialist degree. And then I started working on a 2-year program in Illinois called ISAL. And that was Illinois Superintendent Academy of Leadership. I graduated from that. That's me right there. I got more hair back in that day. 2018, I graduated from ISAL. Then in 2021, I also got my CSBO, Chief School Business Official endorsement, which means I can, what it means is I can talk to Laura and understand what she's talking about, really. Laura's our business manager, and sometimes finances can get a little bit tricky. So that CSBO endorsement allows me to have good conversations with Laura and work on the budget for next year too. Some things I'm doing right now that I don't think almost anybody knows in here, but I did sign up for the new Superintendent's Academy, which I've completed. There's about 30 of us throughout the state of Michigan, and we've been meeting once a month online. I think there was one previous in-person meeting in Lansing at MDE, the Michigan Department of Education. But my graduation ceremony is next week, so I'll be traveling down to Lansing, I think, on Tuesday, and all of us that made it through this one-year course is going to have a little graduation ceremony next week. From that academy, they've talked me into joining the Horizons Leadership Academy. That's again for people at the central office level, not necessarily just superintendents, but people at the central district office level. A lot of them are people who are aspiring to be superintendents, but there are a few superintendents that are part of this cohort, which is going to last about 2 years. We started in January. But kind of the cool thing out of it, what I'm going to get is that if you finish this program, you're going to get a central office endorsement. So for those folks that want to be superintendents who are looking for that credential that kind of will propel them to the possibility of becoming a superintendent, that central office endorsement will be very helpful. And I think some of you know, I'm finally going to put a bow on this one. I was an athletic director and a coach for a long time. I was a part of the NIAAA organization, the National Interscholastic, I always look, Athletic Administrators Association. It's a mouthful. But I'm sitting for my exam on Wednesday. So I will get, if I pass it, hopefully I pass, I've been working on it for a long time, dating back to 2014. You have to take about 6 or 7 required courses to be able to sit to be a certified athletic administrator. Back in 2014 is when I started my athletic director career and took a lot of those classes. And then most recently, I was dabbling with athletics again back just a couple years ago, 2023, last year. I took some more classes, and then finally the people from the NIAAA said, well, why don't you take your CAA exam so you can get a certified athletic administrator endorsement? I go, I guess I can. I've worked on it for 30 years, you might as well get it done. So hopefully we'll be putting a bow on that, and I can have 3 more letters to put at the end of my name. A couple other things, this is down the road. For those of you who know me, I'm interested in writing a book. I have several friends, superintendents, that have wrote several books on leadership. I'm also interested in finishing my doctoral degree. I have just my dissertation to do. And then I also enjoy teaching. I am going to have the good fortune with teaching with Eric Hall over here. Eric and I are going to be teaching the first dual credit college class to our, is it 28? 28 EMC students. So 28 sophomores this summer are going to take a week-long class with Eric and I, and that'll be their first class of many as they go into their junior and senior year. So with all that being said, we know there's a national teacher shortage. We've talked about, everybody knows that. One of the things I do like here, that with the help of Marlene and the district office and building principals, we've been extremely flexible with getting some teachers here who aren't fully certified. There's these programs, if you want to look online and you go to the Michigan Department of Education, there's these programs out there called Grow Your Own. So what it does is, because there is a national teacher shortage, it allows teachers a pathway to get into a classroom and earn their degree while they're a teacher. 30 years ago, that wasn't a possibility. But since we have this national teacher shortage, we're looking at some of our LERA or LRE aides, right? If we got some good ones, we're encouraging them to consider this pathway. And then also substitute teachers. We've talked to a couple substitute teachers into getting into the classroom, working on their certification. Most of these programs do have a 3-year window, so if you don't complete whatever educational requirements that you need to get within those 3 years, then you got to figure something else out at the end of that 3rd year. But I was surprised that I was talking with our building principals, and I was talking with with Marlene, We have over 10 teachers in our school district right now in one or another grow your own program. So without these types of programs, we'd have a very difficult time staffing our schools, not just us, but anybody in this national teacher shortage that we're currently suffering through. And who knows if it's ever going to get better. I mean, I think these programs we're going to have to be dependent on these programs, and I think these programs are here to stay, and I'm glad to see that we have a lot of teachers taking advantage of these programs. So this, I want to talk, last year I wanted to thank Paul Clark. I think you guys remember Paul, but when I was hired last year in February or March, Paul allowed me to be a part of the interview process for building principals. Knowing that I was going to start on July 1st, he wanted me to be a part of those committees. We had some great committees. But most importantly, we hired some great people. And Paul put a lot of pressure on me last year by saying, you decide. These people are going to be working for you, not for me. But we had advisory committees set up for all of these positions. We got some great candidates. Paul and I had some great discussion. But last year, I know they seem like they've been here a long time, but Chris Jewell, is Chris here? Oh, geez. Can you get back there any farther? But also Jim Tamlin, Ben Schley, and Jamie McClintock were all hires last year. And I just want to say I couldn't be more happy with these folks. They're doing a wonderful job. I think we would all agree that they've really knocked it out of the park this year, and the future is bright for the buildings that they're leading and the district that they're helping to coordinate. This year we've hired a few teachers, and I really like to get ahead of the game, so we hired 4 teachers so far, a couple elementary teachers. We've hired a couple of high school teachers, and I think right now we are in May, and we're looking pretty good. We have some people here I'm going to introduce in a second that we're putting up for recommendation for hire, but these 4, we got these positions filled, and they are, I believe they're going to be excellent teachers as well. All 4 of them are veterans. They're going to bring a lot to the table, and I think they're going to have an immediate impact to our schools and our culture and climate within each school. Lastly, we have some folks here today, if you wouldn't mind standing up. Madison, right? Madison is going to be recommended this evening for hire, correct? Mm-hmm. And Deanna, did you want to say anything? Or?
I would just like to say that we're super excited to have Madison be added to, in addition to our team at East Elementary in our resource room and the special education teacher.
Yes.
Super excited.
Yeah, so thank you, Madison. Appreciate that. I think, is Brenna here? Brenna, can you stand up? Now, Ryan, you put together an interview committee, correct?
Correct.
And you hired Brenna. You're recommending Brenna for hire today,
Yeah.
correct? Did you want to say anything about her?
Highly recommend Brenna. She's been a Sheboygan native her whole life. Has been through our current marketing program. Graduated from Northern with a marketing management degree, I believe. Has been working in the industry, has her 4,000 hours. I think she'll be a great educator once she gets in and gets her people right.
Thank you, Brenna. And I understand your mother used to be a teacher here, is that correct?
Yeah.
I heard she was pretty good, is that right? Yeah? Oh, you can't say nothing bad about your mom, can you? Okay. And then Marty is here. Marty Mix he interviewed with us a few weeks ago. Marty is going to be recommended for high school principal this evening. We had a very large committee. I think we had about 10 people on that. Julie, you were part of that committee. And I think at the end of that, we interviewed 5 people, and by far, Marty was, we felt as a committee unanimously, that you were the guy to take over here. So thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it. That's it for me. Are there any questions or concerns? Just talked about 2 of the 5 goals and tried to give you a little bit of idea. When we're doing stuff, it's real important to me. I try to model this to the building principals, and Jamie's helping me right now. But as we do our work, it's real important for us at the district level to kind of log it, right? Okay, so does this fall under, which goal does this fall under? So I just gave you a little bit of 2 of the goals. Don't want to take up all the time tonight, but we'll continue to update you on our progress with each goal. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't think he's here. Is Mr. Howard here this evening? Mr. Howard?
He is
No.
not.
Next on the agenda, we do have one resignation, just one this evening. So I am looking for a motion to accept with regrets the resignation of Andrew Howard, elementary special education teacher, effective June 7th, 2024.
I make a motion to accept with regrets the resignation of Andrew Howard as elementary special education teacher effective June 7th, 2024.
Support. Moved by Dennis, supported by Julie. Are there any questions? Comments? Before we vote, I know he's not here, but like to thank Mr. Howard for his time. I did have the luxury, I did interact with him a few times in the elementary school. I know it can sometimes be a very difficult job. I think that he was very open-minded and very, very good with the kids there. So, does anybody else have anything to add? I don't think anybody else has kids there anymore, so it might just be me. Okay.
I love basketball.
Mrs. Ballard.
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Julie Lohila,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. And then we do have multiple hires this evening. So for high school principal, we have Marty Nix. I'm looking for a motion to approve hiring Marty as the Sheboygan High School principal beginning the 2024-2025 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Either one. Dennis, okay. Moved by Matt, supported by Dennis. Are there any questions or comments? Mrs. Ballard?
Julie Lohila,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
No.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. Welcome to Sheboygan. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with our kids. Next we have Madison McLean. Is that right? Ms. McLean? I need a motion to approve hiring Madison as an elementary special education teacher beginning the 2024-2025 school year.
I'll make that motion as presented.
Support.
Moved by Julie, supported by Carmella. Any questions? Mrs. Ballard?
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Julie Lohila,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. Congratulations, Miranda. Welcome to the district. If I could work anywhere in the school district, it would literally be in that room right there. So I hope you're really happy in there. Oh, Madison, I'm sorry.
I didn't read the interview.
Singing together. Sorry. It's the last names. No way. Okay. Then we have Brenna Hart. I need a motion to approve hiring Brenna as the CTE marketing retail teacher beginning the 2024-2025 school year.
Make that motion as presented.
Support.
Moved by Carmella, supported by Mary Ann. Any questions? Mrs. Ballard?
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Julie Lohila,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. Congratulations, Brenna. Thank you so much for wanting to continue to grow your roots here. I said it right when I asked for the motion, right? I didn't say Miranda then, did I? No. Okay.
We do have
Just
Miranda.
flows, yes.
This is what they're
Next on the agenda, we do have a curriculum committee update.
Okay, so we had a curriculum meeting on May 14th. We had a great meeting with lots of information. The first one presentation was by Julie Demuse, and she gave us a presentation on McKinney-Vento. The program provides services to ensure homeless and at-risk students have adequate housing and educational support. Julie has a caseload of 77 students who are homeless and 106 who are at risk of being homeless. There is one other assistant who works within the program who provides educational support to the youngest of the students on Mrs. Demuse's caseload. The assistant position is new for the 23-24 school year and has been paid for through a grant. The grant is up on September 30th. The committee feels that this is a valuable resource for these students and recommends the position is continued through the 24-25 school year. Within your packet is a definition of homeless according to McKinney-Vento legislation and our school policy. Also, there is more information attached through a link on the minute report that is emailed to you. And if you take a look at that, it gives a definition of what homeless in McKinney-Vento is. And then also our policy has an outline of what Julie's job is, and she is responsible for 11 different things that she has to make sure happens for each of these students. So the help is definitely needed for her. The next thing on our agenda, are there any questions about that? Okay. The next thing on the agenda was the social work update. We were very fortunate to have an update by Mallory Schley and Brianna Novak. They gave a report about the work that they have performed since the beginning with the district in the January of 2024. The report included the number of students worked with, data used to determine the need, and progress and plans for improvements for the next school year. Attached is a copy of her report, and that's handout. If anybody has any questions about that. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda was a coordinator update by Ben Schley. He provided an MTSS, which is multi-tiered support system report. He has worked with administrators compiling the current status of MTSS in each building, reviewed our current system for MTSS, and created the following documents: an MTSS handbook, a flyer, a pamphlet, a peer-to-peer intro pamphlet, social emotional screener. These documents are all available for your review on the minutes. There's also there is more in-depth review of Mr. Sly's work throughout the year within MTSS available also. They are in draft form still, so he is still working to complete them, but they look great already. So the next thing, any questions about that? The next thing on the agenda was we had a sex education curriculum review. The committee has met and will continue to work on community engagement meetings. A link is provided through the agenda that has the Michigan Model Sex Education curriculum there for your review. Any questions about that? Take a look at it. The next thing was the district improvement team. They did have a meeting for the district improvement team. They went through the comprehensive needs assessment and where they reviewed recommendations of the strategic plan, and then they made a plan for next school year. A copy of the meetings is in the minutes as well, which is it's right here, number 7. So if you want to take a look at that, and if you have any questions about that, that is our strategic plan and what progress they've made on it. Next, we had a strategic plan update, which Mr. Bird just gave an awesome presentation on that, so we don't need to go into that at all. And also college and career readiness coach. Would you like to say something about that?
Sure.
Anything written down there?
Well, Jamie and I have been talking about some of the needs that are expanding at the high school. We know that there are some things that are going to be added to our current high school counselor's plate. Also some things that they're going to be taking off their plate. We need somebody that's going to be able to help out with the EMC students. Right now, when we started the EMC program, we thought we might have 5 to 10 students sign up this year. As Eric just told us, we have 28. So we need to probably take that a little bit more seriously, because getting an additional person, not only to help with EMC, but also to help with testing. One of our counselors who has been helping out with testing for a while has decided not to do that, which is fine. She was getting a paid stipend to do that. Some of these things that we're going to take off the current high school counselor's plate, but also as the EMC program evolves. And plus what we'd like to see is some other things that maybe we can take off the high school counselor's plate is coordinating some college events like bus trips to coming. That could be this, not just EMC, but kind of all of that college and career readiness stuff that we want to do, but just don't have the manpower to do so. The best thing about this position is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but due to the fact that we are starting the early middle college program, this is our first year, our first cohort, there is grant money out there to help with the growth of this. So I believe for the next 3 years, as we grow, what I mean by that is 28 students as sophomores will be as juniors, our first cohort, but then every year after, we're going to have another 28 or 30. At one point in time, we're going to have maybe 28 to 30 juniors, 28 to 30 seniors, 28 to 30 fifth-year students who are either at ACC or North Central. So it's going to grow, and as that grows, because of those 3 years, more responsibility is going to be placed on that counselor. So there's grant money out there to fund this position. Did you want to add anything, Jamie, to that?
It's really important to have someone who's supporting these EMC students, because it's a different type of student than your dual credit, self-starter, independent student, and so just having that extra support for them will make the program really successful.
And was I correct about the grant? The grant's going to
The
cover...
grant just came out, we're going to look into it and apply for it.
Right. And as you guys know, I think Eric has been doing a wonderful job, but he's been working through the retirement portion of the program, so he was looking to work 75 hours, and he came to me and said, hey, do you have anything I can do? And I said, I sure do. And I wanted to thank him for doing a lot of this counseling stuff that the high school counselor didn't have the time to do. So for the last couple of months, I know he's been doing a wonderful job meeting with each kid individually, talking with parents, making sure that whatever it is they're aspiring to do, their schedule is in alignment with that as a goal. Did you have anything you wanted to add about that, Eric? Because I know you had 75 hours you were looking to fill, and you're pretty darn close to filling them all, right?
71 right now.
Okay.
And no, it's been really neat to see what the kids are interested in doing and what they're going to pursue, and talking with the colleges. It's very exciting, and I think the kids are excited for it. So.
Well, great, and thank you for the help.
Okay, well, the last thing on our agenda was new hire updates, which Mr. Wood has also gone over. So there was no public comment, and that is the end of our meeting. We meet again on June 18th. Questions?
Thanks, Julie. Matt, finance and building and grounds update?
First topic on the agenda was we had a meeting with Thunder Bay. Again, if you guys remember from last meeting, our last board meeting, they proposed wanting to add on to their clinic at our middle school using Mrs. Cronk's room. We responded back after talking to the building principals that really isn't an option at this point for us due to lack of space. And so their other option at that time was going to be just to remodel the existing health center. They said they looked at that more and realized that that really wasn't going to work for them, do what it wanted to do. And so they presented the idea of expanding the current health center kind of out into the parking lot where their door is. They proposed paying for it themselves. And then they would also pay on the inside as well, but propose an outside structure. Steve was at the meeting as well, and asked some questions about uniformity with the building. Mary Ann asked, just wanted to clarify that although they would be paying for it, it is part of our district and we would control the building space. as theirs would still be, a tenant, if you will, of the school. They were just looking from us as a board, just kind of permission that if anybody had any objections to it, to say it. Otherwise, they wanted to go ahead and start meeting with their architects to kind of propose a design of what they wanted. I don't think they would be able to start construction at the earliest would be in the fall of this year coming up, because their grant begins on October 1st is when they're going to get the part of their grant money, and they're be using some of their own money as well, they said. So, when it would start, we don't know. They just kind of wanted to get our feeling as, are they okay to start it? So, I know the people at the committee didn't have any objections to it, but we wanted to bring it to the other 4 people here to see if anybody has any issue with them. Obviously, it's going to be a two-way street of, they're going to pay for the design, but obviously we have to approve any design or anything like that. So it's not, we'll have kind of final say on the yes or no of what's being proposed.
So they're gonna come back to us with their architect designs before we approve this?
Correct. As long as nobody has any objection. They just didn't want to start it if several board members said we don't want to do this at all. Then they would obviously waste their time.
And then Steve is gonna work with them?
Be a part of it too, yes. They're going to work with us. I mean, they're kind of at our mercy as far as how this would go down, but they're going to be funding everything, is what I understood in talking to them. So I think they're proposing like a 500 square foot addition to the current, and they're looking to get another provider. In doing it, they would get another provider, which would allow them to service a lot more kids in our district. So I think there'll be more to come on that, unless, if anybody here has any issues with it, but I think we kind of told them at that time that, to move forward and come back to us. So then we had First Community Bank stop by. The school just has our food money account there. They just presented us a couple options to earn some interest revenue on that, whether we wanted a sweep account or they gave us a CD, a 6-month CD rate. I think Spencer and Laura are going to kind of meet with them at some point to get a little bit more details on what it would entail there. They're just, I think, looking to increase their relationship with us, or the account's kind of been, it doesn't have a lot of activity. They, just trying to offer us some more products. We had the Blue Liners come there. As you guys know, they had asked for transportation help, trainer fees covered and officials fees covered. I think we just kind of all agreed there and with them that the school can help them with the transportation, because that's relatively easy for us to do, and kind of a high cost for them what they were being charged, and a relatively lower cost for the school. The other items, we kind of told them we have to table that for down the road, because those are kind of a broader discussion of things. So then we had Dr. Steve Busey come. He did a district security assessment for free for the school. I don't know if you guys all had a chance to read that or not, or if you saw his qualifications. Pretty impressive. He had a lot of good information about our overall security. Had some suggestions. I think had some opportunities for some future trainings, right, if we were to pursue that. But I thought he presented a lot of good information to us. Do you want to add anything to that, Spencer?
No, it was just really unique opportunity. I met him through Leadership Sheboygan. He presented to one of our monthly meetings on leadership, and was talking to us about some of the services that he's been providing public organizations. He does the same type of stuff with churches and other private school districts in Harbor. He's from Harbor Springs. So, and he did it for free. So like, yeah. So I thought he was excellent, and like Matt said, his credentials, he's a colonel and Homeland Security. It was pretty impressive. So we were very fortunate to get his input.
And then we had a facility update from Steve. I know we're going to be talking about the locker rooms and science lab, so I won't go into those. They had an update on the middle school playground this summer. They're going to be replacing the pea gravel with the wood chips that are required, adding some ADA playground equipment. I think right now I believe there's one swing out there that's kind of ADA compliant, if I'm using that right. And then they're going to add some ADA mats also that would allow somebody in a wheelchair to kind of be pushed around out in there. So those, I think, are going in this summer. Steve was able to work with, I think, Merchant Excavating over at East to kind of fix those drainage issues in the back of the parking lot. They've kind of got a relatively low-cost solution to that. And then I think some of the other drainage issues on the playground, Steve talked about, those should be addressed when they install the new playground equipment in there this summer. And nobody had any issues with the bills. Investment of funds, everything is currently just still liquid in there, earning a little over 5% still, so there's no developments there and no public comment. And that was it.
Questions for Matt about finances or facilities? Then we can move into payment of bills. I'm looking for a motion to acknowledge payment of the current regular and bond invoices in the amount of $653,571.42.
I move we acknowledge the payment of the current regular and bond invoices in the amount of $653,571.42.
Support.
Moved by Dennis, supported by Mary Ann. Any questions, discussion? Mrs. Ballard?
Julie LaHila,
Yes.
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Matt Malinchak,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. There is a whole tree's worth of proposals in your packet on the locker rooms and the science labs. Looking at the high school locker rooms first, are there any questions or discussion points about any of those proposals?
The only thing I would like to add is that Steve and I, it was very important to us that who's ever bid we accept, that we can get the work done this summer. If you recall, last year we were promised that our parking lot project would be done in the summer, and it wasn't, and it was a nightmare. So one of the things we're trying to emphasize, there's no guarantee that it's going to be done before school year starts, but we are being promised by these folks that the work that they're going to begin will be finished before the school year starts next year.
You know, I know we agreed to separate these two motions, but if for some reason one were to pass and the other one were not, I don't know that these companies, if I recall Steve saying that they're wanting to do both, like if they were to just get one, it might be.
That's correct. They might walk if we just do
Correct.
one, yeah.
Right, I just wanted to make sure that was
There's also a
clear.
recommendation letter from Cornerstone in there for L&L contracting for both projects in the packet.
Yeah, and I think everybody's aware we had 13 companies do the walkthrough and 3 show up for the bid on Friday.
That's pretty normal, I think, for most of our projects, yeah. If there are no questions on the locker room proposals, I'm looking for a motion. I'm looking for a motion in regards to the high school locker room proposals. Please fill in those blanks when you make your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal from L&L for the high school locker rooms in the amount of, what else we got?
Yes, 574,500.
I know they have these other things in here too. I guess we can put that on the next one. See where they're like adding. You guys see on that?
I think total price is the,
Okay.
I just don't want, I just want to see, because like they're saying they forgot, so I mean, I can add it into the next one, but they didn't put in the 4% contingency.
for each project though. 4,000 total.
And then another 4% as well. So it's 2,000 each and then 4%.
I think that's just the math, so I think it's 2,000 or 4% for each, and then the total number is that, with it added in. You see, like they did the math up here, so it's,
Right, we're seeing that 948 and 982. I just want to make sure if I'm making the motion, I'm doing it for the right amount. You see what I mean? Like.
so it'll be 2,000 for each project.
Well,
And then this is the math with that added in, with that 4,000 added, right?
Well, then the
No.
4% also
Is that right?
grand total $37,780.
Where's the actual bid?
we do it.
I believe the grand total is
Five years.
For the locker room.
I didn't see that out.
So these notes are from the architect though, so could we not approve this bid as written and then adjust it in June? For those extra monies, if it needs to be added, the extra $4,000?
Yeah, and we can always adjust it, I mean, contingent costs, there's all kinds of changes throughout the construction process, but it would have to come to the board to be approved if it's different than what we approve here.
Well, because the L&L aren't the ones that caught it, that came from the architect. So they would have to adjust it on their bid anyways, wouldn't they? We can't just self-adjust it, can we?
All right, well, let me start on the.
I don't think we can self-adjust it.
Yeah, I'll just do it for now.
And then they can come back.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal from L&L for the high school locker room project in the amount of $574,500.
Support. Moved by Matt and supported by Mary Ann to approve the proposal from L&L Construction for the high school locker rooms in the amount of $574,500 as presented. Any questions or discussion? Mrs. Ballard?
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Mary Ann Riding,
Yes.
Julie LaHila,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. And then are there any questions on the science lab bids, which is going to have the same? So I'm looking for a motion in regards to the high school science lab proposals.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal from L&L for the high school science labs in the amount of $369,000.
Support.
Moved by Matt, supported by Dennis. To approve the proposal from L&L Construction for the high school science labs in the amount of $369,000 as presented. Any questions or discussion? Mrs. Ballard?
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Mary Ann Riding,
Yes.
Julia LaHila,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the, setting the date for Truth and Taxation, it's our finance update. The taxation hearing. It's proposed it as being on the 24th at 6:15, which is just 15 minutes prior to the regularly scheduled meeting. Are there any concerns about that date and time? In the event that we wouldn't have, okay. So I'm looking for a motion to hold the 2024-2025 budget hearing on Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 6:15 p.m.
Make that motion. Support.
Moved by Mary Ann, supported by Julie. Any questions or discussion? Mrs. Ballard?
Julie LaHila,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Mary Ann Riding,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. Brings us to our public comment portion of the evening. If there's anybody that would like to address the board at this time, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the minutes. The board will not respond to any comments made at this time, but please turn in your public participation form so that we can respond to your comment if necessary. Hearing none, I am looking for a motion to move to a closed session to consider a student expulsion.
I make a motion to move to closed session to consider a student expulsion.
Support.
Moved by Dennis, supported by Carmella. Mrs. Ballard?
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Julie Lohilo,
Yes.
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Amber Hanson.
Yes. I have 7:51 p.m. I am looking for a motion in regards to student A.
So we don't have to follow this one here, right?
You have to fill in the language, yeah. You can write whatever you want.
I'm going to make a motion that student A continue online education for 2023-24 and any thereafter education at Sheboygan area schools to be online, and also have a restriction from our school campus and events.
I'll support.
You want, okay.
Want to add any?
I was gonna say if you
Yep, go
wanted it,
ahead.
if you wanted it to stay campus or you wanted it to stay district property.
You can amend your,
Not to a vote, I don't think.
If it's district property, I'm willing to change that.
you have
Should we keep the suspension to the end of the year opposed to saying that you can continue with online education?
Well, we have a motion on the table and it was supported,
Okay.
so we're gonna have to vote on this one first.
Carmella, can you repeat your motion, please?
I made a motion for student A to be online education to finish 2023-24, and any further education with Sheboygan area school be online, and also to be restricted from our district from any events or grounds.
And that was moved by Carmella. We do have support from, it was Matt. Any questions or discussion?
Matt asked a question. Or give information just based on wording.
It's not gonna change anything because we already have support, if that helps. Answer your question. I'm sorry, I apologize.
That's okay.
Mrs. Ballard?
Matt Malarchuk,
yes.
Julie Lohila,
Yes.
Mary Ann Ridings,
Yes.
Dennis Olson,
Yes.
Carmella Boyd,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
No.
Amber Hanson.
No. I'm gonna need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Supported, moved by Dennis, supported by Mary Ann. All in favor?
Aye.